Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Today we're going to discuss some application part. What comes after job acquisition? And sorry, I forgot to mention that we see teams and groups. Yes, we did teams, we did groups, we saw job header and footer, we saw request. And we saw roadmap. And then this is all set up job board. These are all pretty much we have covered. Today we're going to discuss on application part. What comes after job requisition is yes, when we set up like the fields that are available for each country. Yes, we will see about the fields outward to the each country. That's called as overrides. That comes at later part. Yes, let's come from the start. We'll start from the scratch. What exactly is job application? Whenever you or the external candidate goes to career site, right? And whenever you see any job, consider this is a job. And if I go to apply for this job, if I click on apply, this is my candidate profile. This will come to next part. Let's not discuss on this. Here, these are things whatever you're saying, right? This is application. That questions, but the questions are from requisition, right? Or from application. No, this is from application. It is coming from application. Before we go there, let's discuss what exactly is application whenever you go to a job and to apply there. There you're going to see certain fields. This is called as application. Before that, as a recruiter or from the tie-in team perspective, whenever a candidate acquiesces for a job, we can see his details here. Consider this. Schumer is a candidate has applied for this requisition for this job. And these are the details I can see right. Conviction response, general attachments, other applications started candidate status. These are all application fields. You got it. What is application? How do we see it? As a candidate, when I see application is when I go to a job and click on apply for it. And then once I click on apply for it, then what are the fields I get it to here? I can see it. This is called application. And as a recruiter or as a tag and team perspective or from the client perspective, when do I see application is when the candidate acquiesces for a job and I click on the candidate name, I can see his details. What are the details he has standard has given here? Application senior heading is their application. But only application, or I can see it. You can also see that you are right on that part. Questioning part, is there right? These are all coming from job requisition. What about this? Sorry, can you go back to the second tab? And what about the like below application, extreme details, internal employee, previous employee, all that? This is the application. No, these are all the questions present here. The same questions here, right? This is the same question. Whatever candidate response, it will capture here. Application, job application screening details, job requisition, internal employment history, a candidate profile. Right? We'll come to that. This is the application part. Whatever you are seeing here next, whatever you are seeing right. The internal employment history is as an internal candidate. If I apply, I can see this. If I'm applying as an external candidate, it won't be there. Internal means as an internal candidate, the person who has applied from internal job profile or is a IJP internal job portal. If I am an external candidate, as an external candidate, I won't be having because I am not working in this company, right? I'm an external candidate. I will just go and apply for this job. I just see an opening in that company. Can you scroll up a little bit? Because me, Stumer, it looks to be an external candidate because the card is orange, doesn't it? An internal candidate is blue. This is called an external candidate. Few more information on external candidate. If you put your here, it shows as external. Irrespective of whatever it is, you just try to understand the difference. What is internal and what is external? External means like previous employment. Which of the companies have worked before applying for this job? Internet candidate is something that as a employee of this company, I'm applying for a job within the same company for a different role. That's the difference. These are all things which is coming from candidate profile comments and all. Before we do that, I just wanted you to make you understand what is application. We've got the idea of what is application, right? There is a job opening. I will go and apply for a job. I can see that application and as in a recruiter or a bank and perspective, I can see the details of the application. Now we got it. Next point, how? Next point is that we need to create this application, right? How to create this application? Similarly, there are two ways of creating the applications. Same as a job requisition. One is from the front end, from the UI part. And the second one is through the XML part. Two ways you can do. Whichever is easier for you, whichever you are comfortable, you can use that method. Coming to the same part again, there can be a number of applications. You can create a number of applications. But you can tag only for one job requisition. You can tag only one application. Got the idea? I got it. Let's go and start with the creation of application. How do we start from the application? So, what do you mean with that? Let's start. Let's start with how to create a reposition from the scratch. This is a standard tag which I'm copying from my previous reference XL and copy pasting here. Here is the template name. This is your based on your requirement. You can do whatever you want. Normally, it depends. Paint whatever they want. You can give it naming via kind-wise, or if they have anything for a country-wise, you can give it for a country-wise. If you have for internal, external or interns, something like that, you can use like that. Depending upon the client requirement. Or if you don't have any multiple applications, you have only one application. You can just mention this. And it is the application template. This is just a description. Always remember to not change the template name by importing by mistake. If you make a changes by chance and if you try to import it, it will create another template in the system. You have to be careful on this part. This last modified, this gets automatically generated. You don't have to do anything. Next part is defining the field. Its price is to modify the day. The template last modified manually. Right. Like for example, in that case, it says that it hasn't changed since 2016. And that changed, like if I update that part manually or no, you just have to go and whatever the editing is there, here you can do it and just import it. This gets automatically updated. You can ignore this part. Now I'm adding the fields. How to define a field within the application. There are certain standard fields in the recruiting which is related to application, similarly as in requisition. We saw in requisition, right? Requisition ID, requisition status, internal job, external title, internal title. Those are the standard fields of requisition. Similarly, the standard fields of requisition. We have standard fields of applications as well. First one is the status ID. What exactly is stat ID? Whenever application is involved, status is also involved. Status is nothing but distance. Shortage interview, background check assessment. You have to create a pick list of this in your system. A pick list for the pipeline. You have to create a pick list for the pipeline. I'll just show you where it looks. Thank you. you can see the candidate status. Can you please click it? Thank you. Here I can see the different statuses present. These are the same statuses which is there in the talent pipeline. You saw the pick list also. Coming back to the reason why we are adding this candidate request status pick list here. This is application. I can see the candidate status. If I move the candidate, I need to move the candidate here, right? For that reason, these are all interrelated. If you move it here, it will move it here also. Question. I'm like, and must be, I guess, exactly the same. And is anything additional that I need to? You need to go and add it there. If any additional is there, you have to go and add it there. I moved the candidate to different status. See, now the candidate status is changed here. Right. These are all interrelated. You have to add it by default. In case if you're adding any new status, then you have to go to the request and add that status there. Let's say, but it's not in there. Like if I move from here is the same thing. If I drop, like same. Yes, same both. Both are same. Just to correlate between the target pipeline and the application. We are creating a connection here. That's the first thing we're going to do. We have to add the status ID in the paper. Second thing, these are all the standard fields. This is related to candidate resume, cover letter, contact email ID, candidate name, first name, last name, middle name, country, date of birth. I have one question with gender because I am using best practice for recruitment. Generally, what happens is that there is some discrepancy in the gender field. Normally what we do is we create another custom request for gender for RCM. The reason is we have this is the standard one. We have only 3 values. No selection. Male and female. If you want any to be added you cannot modify it. For that reason, what we do in RCM is we create a custom request rather than the standard. Because the other workaround was it like I would bring that KBA for our next class. But I was wondering that because of that error, I'm not able to change like in the CSS. You and it is. That is there. And also if you're using this thing, it will be a radio button that you have to select the round buttons. 1. You cannot make it as something else. That's a standard one. We cannot do anything on that part. For that reason, what we do is we just create a custom request and then we add it. That's all. My question was more like if they give us like 2 workarounds, which one is more popular or like the best way? But I understand that is a custom one. Thank you. That's what we do. Normally, we just create a custom request and use that one. Next is country, date of birth. And SN is related to us. These are all the standard fields. What is available? We add. Let's come to the application part. This is the first field I added status. That needs to be there. Reject reason is if a candidate you are rejecting them to want it as a pick on. You can select it. And this is a custom field. They want it in a permit. They have created a custom field. Comments and all these are all standard field. Comment is something that if I'm moving the candidate or you want to put a comment on anything. Here you can see it, right? This is what you do to add this comment. See, we are adding this standard field. First name, middle name, last name, those things are all standard fields. If I go to that application, I can see here, right? First name, last name, email address. This is application fields. I'm defining those fields here. Quick question. Some of these fields like first name, last name comes to careers, right? When I apply, do we need something like a special to take to most information from careers to the job? There are two things, candidate profile and job application. If your in system has a RMK, that thing, what happens is your candidate profile and job application merges together. That will become when you are applying for a job and that thing. You can see only one page. But here without RMK, there are two things. First, I need to complete the candidate profile. Then I need to go to the application. See here, this is the candidate profile. Exact. No, my question is, do you need an integration like check some part? Not exactly. No, we do not need any integration as that part. If your system is, if you're conferring RMK, definitely that thing, then configurations will change, right? Automatically things will come. You don't have to do anything. Once you configure RMK part, those things and all will happen by default. Since both are interrelated, RCM and RMK. Maybe I have. I think I have an RMK. I am not sure if you. RMK, the page itself will differ. Here, what you're seeing is a standard career site of success factors. When you have RMK, that you have a different URL together. Once you click on apply for a job, it will take you to work. Once you go to your career site, that job URL itself is different. That is jobs to work. The UI itself is going to change that. That comes in the RMK part. As of now, since RMK is not there, we are not concerned about it. It will be just a standard career site of success factors. RMK is altogether a different module. And when we remain that module, then we have to configure all those things. But then those things are now similarly like how we are configuring RCM. Similarly, configuration will be there for RMK part. From the scratch. Coming to this auto added field. Let's discuss some of the field definition. If I want to add a field, what I will do is I just copy paste the field. This is field definition. This is where it starts. And this is the ID, what I will be giving. This is just a type, is a text field. Whether it's mandatory or not, that's what is required. True or false? Whether it's custom or not, true or false. If it's a false, because first name is a standard field. Public is equal to true, because I want the candidate to see this and also the recruiter to see this. If I make it as a false, candidate will not be able to see this. Read only false. And then anonymous. You have any idea on what is anonymous field? I know. I think that is, but sometimes I confuse. It's kind of sensitive data. The user is not considering every certain time the system deletes some information, something like that. Oh, I know. I know. Is something that whenever you're pulling out a report, these sensitive data will be masked. Not everyone can see this. It's not a public data. If I'm making it as normally, what we do is for phone number. I know the gender and all certain kinds, especially European kinds. They prefer to have the most of the sensitive feeds to be anonymous. That depends upon the current requirement. They will tell you which feeds to be anonymous based on the requirement. We just have to make it as true. That's all. Next is a forward intact. Consider you have applied for a job. Probably you are not selected for the job or you are not suitable for that role. What I can do is, as a recruiter, I can forward you to a different role which is already there in my system. In the sense which, in a different role available within the company, you have applied for a job which you may not be suitable. What I will do as a recruiter or talent acquisition team, I will say that you are eligible for another role within the same company. I'm going to forward you to the requisition. That is called as forward intact. Whenever the forwarding to another requisition, right? When you are applying for different jobs and whatever the data you have given, you want this data also to go to that requisition. That time you are going to use it forward intact. Got the idea? Thank you. Sensitivity. And again, this is similar as anonymous. It's just we're going to make it as true or false. What are the fields you have? Middle name, last name, start date. This is important application. Start date. When is your job starting date? When is your hire date? When are you starting your job day? One of your job. Question, that is, that they shouldn't come from the requisition. No, this is your job application data. This is related to particular individual. Application is related to individual job. Requisition is related to the whole acquisitions. If I see here one particular person, obviously it will come in the application part. Here in the job application, do we have like, sorry for my parents? No worries. I think you are getting confused with this job posting date. The posting date is different. Let me open it. Here job posting date. This date This start date is something. When should I start posting my job in the career site? This is the acquisition. When do I need to post this job that candidates can apply for it? If I start the start date as today, from today, A inwards, I can see this job requisition posting with the career site. If I start posting started from next week, from on that day onwards, candidates can see this job in the career site that they can go and apply for it. This start date is an offer. Get a start date. When I am starting, when this person is going to start her job on that day. That started it is. Application is involved to the each of the candidate. First name, last name is an individual person name, right? The data is captured in this way. First name, middle name, last name. When is the start date of the job, if it's selected? Candidate name, contact email ID, cell phone of the candidate, phone, fax address, city, state, zip country. These are all the standard. And here we set up something related to the interview, central or not. Yet, interview central or interview schedule. Interview schedule and all comes after the candidate appears for a job, right? Candidate, that's all later stage. But later stage, what we have done? Yes, that you are talking about. What we have done is we are coming from the scratch. First, we are creating a job requisition and we are creating an application, and then we create a candidate profile. Then we post the job after candidate applies for a job. Then only the interview status and all will come. Interview center, interview status. Yes, go ahead. My question is, or maybe I am, like you won't explain that. You will explain that later. Is more like if that part, I understand that comes later, that you apply for a job. But my question is if that part is configured here in the job application or in another. Yes. We actually do not configure it. We give the permission for this. That's the permission part within the application. You understand it. You can just take it one by one. Definitely it will come. Let's not rush up on things. Just try to understand things. Whatever I'm having. Better point, definitely. Not going to miss out anyways. These are the standard fields. It will come. Just try to understand how to define the fields and what are the standard fields and what are the fields, how we define it and what are the characteristics of each of the fields, how to define it and what is the different. Greater point. We can go one by one. This is how I start creating my application XML from the scratch. I have defined my fields here. Let me in this case, we define all the fields, and even though for some countries are not used, like for example, Percy for USA is mandatory that you add. If you are, I don't know, we come to that point. Are you clear of this one? We will come to that point later. But here, first we want to define the fields. No matter for which country it is, we just define the fields. And then we now coming to permission part. There are two things in the permission part. There's something called as a single stage, multi-stage. You have any idea what is single stage and multi-stage application? A later stage, kind of, but it's still confusing for me. Single stage. It's something that candidates will go and apply for a job. I will just go and apply and submit it. Once I submit as a candidate, if you come to the new application, status default. Now as a candidate again, I cannot go back and modify these things. It's like a one time, that's it. I will come here, I'll wait for a job, I'll submit it. Then that's it, no modifications. If it's a multi-stage, no modifications for the same application. I mean, for example, if I am applying for the project coordinator and I am also applied for being a project controller. If I apply in a single stage application, the once I apply for job coordinator, I cannot change anything. But if I apply for job controller, I cannot. I can change certain values or no. That's it. It's only for one time. You cannot modify it. And even though there are two requisitions, like two different requisitions, right? No, this is application. Right, for each requisition, you are applying for a different. If you are applying for a different job, definitely you can go and modify it. But what I'm going to tell you is, it's a one-time process. For if I go to careers and if I see one and if I apply for it for the same job I'm talking about, not the different. I can see a project manager, right? I will go and apply for it. Right, once I apply for it, I cannot modify it. But if I'm applying for associate consultant, definitely her profiting, definitely. I have the option to go and do it. But what I'm telling you, it's a one-time process. You go here, click on apply, you fill the fields and submit it. That's all. You cannot modify it again for the same position. If it's a multi-stage and applying for this job, I'm applying for this job. There are certain fields I want to have these fields only at the latest stage of the hiring part. For instance, I want to have here's some additional document feed. Is there, right? This additional document feed I want to display to candidate only during the offer stage. Before offer stage. After all this, after completing round 1, I want the data to be needed after. After completing of interview 1, I want the candidate to give me the additional documents to go proceed with the round 2 of interview. Whatever we do, I'll move the candidate to round 2 of interview. That time candidate can come and see. That time this field will be visible. You can figure it up, this, and then submit it. This is for which state? Sorry, I'm confused. This is for multi-stage. Let's just let the same names proceed. Single stage means apply only once, multi-stage just and once you apply again during the interview process. Additional data and it can log into the same details. The logic is pretty simple. I want this field to be visible only after the interview. One does. What I will do, I will make this field to be visible only during the interview status. I will ask the candidate to go and fill it up. The extra additional things that I can proceed with the interview. The candidate will log in. He goes to his application and here he can click on the job where he has applied for it. Once he click on the job applied for it, he can see that feed, extra feed. What is there? That documents needed feed. He can provide the details and he can submit it. You got the idea? Yes, thank you. It's just similar that whenever we want, for example, for offer, before I proceed with the offer, I want the candidates to provide his national ID or else his education documents, his previous work experience letters. What I will do? I will go and add those fields in the application and provide the permission only during the offer stage. And then what candidate can do? Candidate can go to his job applications where he has applied for his job and he can see that he has been working on the job. He needs to add you the additional data here. This field is now considered. He has already given in the first time itself. Additional fields will be blank like this. He needs to come and click. He needs to provide his data and then he needs to submit it to again for the second time. First time during the initial stage when he appears for a job. Second stage is during the interview stage whenever this additional information is required. That time candidate will come and give the things. That is the difference between single stage and multi-stage. You got the idea of single stage and multi-stage? Yes, thank you. Yes, and finally do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.